Welcome back to another episode of Wine and Wine Real Estate Uncorked. We're here for our holiday episode with the patriotic Santa Claus, and we're here to talk about some exciting topics in the world of real estate, some updates on the local market, some timely events during the holidays, and the most sexy topic of all, insurance. All right, let's hop right into it.
Awesome, let's go.
So before we get jumping into everything, I wanted to first of all just share our complete gratitude for our clients and friends and family this year. I had the opportunity yesterday to go through and walk through all the stories of all the people that we worked with this year, and it was just a beautiful space to be in yesterday. And we discussed those together. We were able to help people get into retirement homes. We helped some really difficult situations for families get out, really helping them to get into new homes and have a fresh start. Mm-hmm. We helped homeowners that had been searching the market for 8 years.
Yeah, that's the best one, 8 years.
Yeah, so we really did so much and connected with so many people. We had tons of referrals from our friends and family. We are so appreciative to be able to help everyone.
Yeah, it's a great time of the year to think about our gratitude and how blessed we are with our business. And it's all up to what you do for us folks, everything you do to help us. And of course, we strive to make our experience with everyone to be the most stress-free as possible, and to stay with people. And we've helped a lot of people with, turning properties from, ugly homes to beautiful homes and selling them with a profit for them. And we've done so much for so many people, and it's all about you helping us. So,
well, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
We're so appreciative.
Yeah. You get goosebumps thinking about it sometimes, but it's more than just the selling of real estate. We help people, which is really what we're all about. So.
Absolutely. And we get to do it together.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer she'll let me do it with this
outfit. I don't know. With the
outfit.
Patriotic Santa Claus.
I'm Santa Patriot.
I don't know, man. But, one of the things we wanted to talk about is what an opportunity we're in right now for buyers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sellers too. Sellers, it's always a great market in the Bay Area, depending on your situation and what you're looking to accomplish. Because there is less inventory on the market. The people that are looking at your home, They're want
serious. They're serious.
They want it.
It's definitely that time of year that the serious buyers are out there looking for homes, and the serious sellers too.
Right.
People who want to sell. And, we've had a great year as far as appreciation, as far as sales volume and everything else locally. It's been a good year.
Yep.
In spite of higher interest rates, buyer demand is still high. And you got to attribute that to the lack of inventory that, for 15 years, California hasn't built enough homes to sustain the amount of people that keep wanting to buy in our states. So.
Right. There's definitely inventory coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see, realtors have the ability not only to see coming soon properties, but also with our large network that we have, and just having conversations with my other realtor friends and seeing that coming soon. One of the things that I've been working on with some of our buyers in Cambrian and San Jose is just sending them some of the properties that are getting ready for market, so that they can start to take a look at, is this a neighborhood that I'm interested in? And that's more the proactive, not waiting for it to hit the market approach of how we work with our buyers.
Yeah, and not just the agents and realtors that we're working with or have worked with in the past. Our own coming soon. Are stacked up for January, February already.
Right.
And there's quite a volume of property coming on, which is going to be great for everybody.
Yep.
And again, we're so grateful for that.
And then just a quick mention on interest rates. I think that everyone's settling into the fact that our new norm is going to remain in the sixes.
Yeah, and you may get down to the high fives, but the days of 2.5% and 3% mortgages, they're done. And there's a positive and a negative to that. Of course, the negative is that the people who hold those kind of mortgages are not going to want to sell their house.
Right.
But the positive to that is that people get so wrapped around this low interest rate environment that we were in, which was an anomaly for many years, actually for 4 or 5 years. But the average interest rate over 50 years is 7%.
Yeah.
And so when people are like crying, oh my gosh, I got a 6.5% interest rate, that's people pay normal. That's normal. It's normal now. So it's just getting used to it. It all comes down to affordability. Everybody has to look at their mortgage payment and say, can I afford that?
Right.
And if I can afford that, then buy. And it goes right back to the questions. When should I buy? Well, you should have bought 20 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
But so with that in mind, when should you buy? Today. Buy today,
right.
Regardless of the interest rates.
Right. And like we've said before, we've never had a buyer that said,
yeah,
I wish I didn't buy.
That's right.
They get used to the payment. They get used to the everything around it.
It's affordability.
Yeah. So putting a plan in place, even if it's not this year, finding getting together with us, getting together with our preferred lender that we work with, and creating a plan is key.
And speaking of preferred people, one of our very close referral partners, I guess, is Laura Peterson, who gave us a bunch of information about a topic we want to talk about today, which is insurance, homeowners insurance.
Right.
Why don't we segue into that right now?
Yeah. So there was recently, I've had so many questions. And originally we were kind of thinking about doing a different topic for this podcast as it was during the holidays. But I've had so many questions regarding this. And there's also been a recent Mercury News article that specifically stated that all insurance companies are pulling out of California. Oh. And this is homeowners insurance policies. And
that goes back to what we started this a couple of years ago about responsible reporting.
Right.
It wasn't responsible reporting.
Right.
It's not true.
It's a fear.
Yeah, it's a thing to get people riled up or something. And all insurance companies are not pulling out of California.
Yeah. So with that being said, we had multiple questions. We wanted to get to the bottom of it and provide this information out to the masses because it is something that people are worried about.
Yeah.
Whether you're buying a property, because I heard it from a buyer.
Sure.
Are we going to be able to get a homeowner's insurance policy? What will that look like? Is the cost too expensive that now we can't buy a home? And then on the flip side, if you are already a homeowner, are we going to lose our policy?
Right.
Is our payment going to go up tremendously? Are we going to have to get a California Fair Plan?
Yeah.
And so all of these things are what got us to this point. And so let's talk about what we had that conversation with Laura Peterson in Los Gatos. She's a phenomenal resource for insurance. And this is what we discovered.
Yeah. So start off with the fact that the reality is that you are not required to have home insurance. It's not a law. It's not something that says you have to have it. If you have a loan, your lender wants you to have it. And should you have home insurance?
Yeah.
Absolutely. But you're not required to. So start there. But if there is a calamity, or if you have an event, your house burns down, you want to be able to take the chances of having somebody else cover that risk.
Right.
So that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the ultimate risk of something happening to the home. So, should you? Yes, absolutely. Do you have to? No. But going back to the issues that we're dealing with today, what's going on in the state of California are the people who are saying, companies are saying, I'm not writing new policies.
Right.
And they're not writing new policies because their risk that they paid out far exceeds the premiums they took in.
Right. So she specifically mentioned that they're underpriced due to claims, and they're paying out about $1.40 per dollar collected.
Correct.
So they're underwater.
By 40%, if you look at that. And so they're saying, look, we don't want to write anymore. Now, keep in mind, they're also regulated by the state insurance board,
right,
who says, you can't go and collect that 40% you're missing. So they're saying, well, if we can't get our back to a balance, we'll write for a while and see what happens.
Right.
Now, there's also legislation coming in the state that talks about how they could be more fair about what their ability to pass on to their clients are, so that more people can write in California. I just read a recent article in a business journal that talked about the state plan, the state idea to kind of offset the ability for people to say, okay, we can't get all 40 cents back, but we can get 27 cents back.
Right.
And there's going to be some legislation coming down that helps insurance companies be able to write here. So can you get insurance? Absolutely. Is it going to cost you a little more this year? Absolutely.
Yeah, but it also depends. And, Laura was mentioning, as we've found as well, we, in most situations with our buyers this year, have not had any issues in regards to getting new policies.
No.
The new policies that we've seen that have had issues are in your Los Gatos Mountains,
mountain ranges,
Scotts Valley, any kind of mountain range, some of the outer areas of Morgan Hill.
Fire danger
areas. Those are the ones.
And fire danger brings up something too. We have a client that lives in an area that was trees and bushes that were around their house, and their policyholders said, look, we want to renew you, but you have to get 10 feet of clearance around your home before we renew you. Right. And they came out and looked to make sure that they did it.
Right.
So they're just looking to try to offset any potential losses by doing things like that to mitigate any future losses.
Right.
Which is not a bad deal. I mean, you just have to do what they say.
Well, so that's something to look out for if you are a homeowner currently and there is something that could be potentially called out for. And Laura had mentioned, you have a roof that's coming due to be replaced. You have trees or any kind of bushes that are within 10 feet of the property. And they are using drone footage. There's all methods.
Yes.
Yeah, is definitely helpful for them.
But fire hardening is something that we should all be considering anyway.
Right.
No matter where you live, you should be thinking about these things.
Right.
And the type of roof you have, in a lot of the homes in some of these big areas that had fires have, clay roofs that are not susceptible to catching embers.
Yeah.
to get burned up. And that helps you. And I believe your insurance will help you with that too, as far as saying you have a clay roof or a ceramic roof, and there's going to be less risk, so they price it into your premiums.
Right.
So, and I'm not an insurance person, but here's another great thing for us to ask you is, who's your insurance person? Maybe we could share some information with them or get some from them besides Laura to help pass on this stuff. I mean, it's all about getting the information out to everybody and getting everyone to understand what the risks are. So one of the things that we have to think about, buyers especially coming into 2025, is we're in the world of buyers' offers being non-contingent. Every seller wants to have no contingencies. Well, one of the things that has to be investigated up front is, what's the cost of insurance of this home I'm thinking about buying?
Right.
So Laura suggested that even if you haven't identified your home, you identified a neighborhood, you identified somewhere where you think you're going to live, find out what it's going to cost you to have for a 1,500 square foot home or a 2,000 square foot home or whatever size it is, and know up front so you can go into that offer process with the security of knowing, okay, my insurance costs are going to be about X.
Right.
So that was great advice from her.
And then there is the process too, that when I'm working with buyers, that I do a lot of that discovery stuff specifically before writing an offer as well.
Absolutely.
So I will specifically know if we're in a flood zone, if we're in a high fire area.
Yeah.
I do pick the brain of the realtor. Have they had any increases in policy recently? All of that stuff is usually discovered before, but definitely having a clear picture of what the general idea of the premium is going to look like is important. Now, on the seller side or the homeowner side of it too, if you have questions about the age of your roof or even the value of your home, because that's another thing that we've touched on in the past, but while we're talking about insurance, I think is really important, is making sure that your coverage in the Bay Area is enough for your home. I'll give you a perfect example.
Go ahead, yeah.
Our home in Morgan Hill, when we had originally purchased the property, was $700,000.
Right.
Well, we only had like $300,000 or something of replacement coverage on the property. Now, of course, it would cost
way more than that. Yeah.
Building costs, all the different things that have gone up since the time of purchase. We did not increase our coverage over that time until a couple years ago. And our insurance agent looked at us like we were nuts. Like, if our house had caught on fire, we would have been in big trouble.
And there's two things to think about in the event that something happens to your home. And this is why, looking at your coverage, your declaration page, and looking at it with your insurance agent or anybody else that is in the insurance business, even calling us or calling Laura or somebody, to look at it and say, okay, I need full replacement coverage. Right. And oftentimes, like Nicolette's saying, you bought the house 20 years ago and you haven't changed your full replacement coverage. The second thing that I tell all of our clients, is that, how long am I going to be out of my house? Because it's going to take more than a year to rebuild your home if it's burnt to the ground. And oftentimes, most policies are written for 12 months worth of being out of your house. Yeah. So you want to get 2 years of out of your house coverage. People don't even think about that. Out of my house coverage, what's that? Where you're going to live for the next 2 years while your home is rebuilt, it could be covered in your insurance policy. And the small amount that it costs to increase from 12 months to 24 months is well worth it should something happen.
Well, I would have just moved in with you.
Yeah. Of course. My point is that it's now become very important to be able to look at on an annual basis, is my home covered fully for full replacement? can I live outside of my home for up to 2 years, at no cost out of pocket, and what's your personal belongings too? What's the value of your personal belongings if they should go up in flames or something else?
I think the key is making sure you feel empowered through the process
Absolutely.
of insurance and every part of a real estate transaction, whether you're a seller, owner, buyer, whatever part, and making sure you're aligning with the right people that are educating you through the process of what you need. California is a very litigious state.
Yes, absolutely.
And, if you're going to have insurance, you have a loan on it, you have to have insurance. You might as well make sure that you have the ability to use it when needed, right?
Absolutely.
And you're covered.
And now, one of the things that we've always done for our clients that are selling their homes is to get a list of the annual costs, the monthly costs for like water, for gas, for electricity, and insurance. So the person coming in knows, okay, this is what the seller has been spending every month for these types of things. It's just being well prepared for anyone that's coming to buy our clients' homes. We often ask for those things as buyers, and not everybody's prepared to do that, but it's something that should be very much vital to the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we covered the least sexy topic of 2024, but we're so grateful. We wanted to always bring relevant information that people are asking about, and we've had a lot of people ask about this topic. Yeah. And this is a great way to get it out to the masses and give you guys what you want.
Yeah. So happy holidays and happy New Year. And
Thank
we'll see you
so
in
much,
the new year.
Guys. We appreciate all of you.
2025 is around the corner.
And it's going to be a fantastic
year. It's going to be a wild ride.
I feel it.
Can't wait.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.